Hey man, how's your movie going?
Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to Hey Man, how's your movie going? Fine. It's going fine. I'll see you guys next time. Psych, I'm just kidding. This episode's brought to you, of course, by the Dry Lube Blaster. Dry Lube, if you are in need of a blaster, well, Dry Lube is the best. There is no other lube besides the Dry Lube. I just want you to remember that. So, hold on. All right, well, welcome. That's all the comedy I have. Good night. I got you again. So I'm very excited and very hyper today because I have a very special guest on today. He is special guy. His name is Scott Serkland, and if you don't know who he is, well, then obviously you haven't seen the film Interstellar. Stella? What? Wait a minute. Interstellar. Anyways, and also the creator of many, many cool things that I happen to own and prize, and delicious bubblegum. Delicious bubblegum. So, anyways, well, I just wanted to let you guys know that I have some cool updates today. I'll be showing a couple of clips from the film. I'll let you know what my progress is on the film. I got a long way to go. But it's been a while. So why don't we take a quick break and we'll be back with Scott Serkland.
Taco Taco.
Where else can you get family fun in Frankfurters?
Taco Taco.
Holy frijoles! Taco dog is rare!
Taco Dog. Try our new dog stada with beans, rice, and sour cream. Taco Dog. It's whooping good. Our newest location, Bellflower.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Serkland. Thank you for joining me, Scott. The magical key to the kingdom to get you onto this show. By the way, if you're watching this for the first time, thank you for tuning in. I'm usually not this silly. I'm pretty silly today because I'm excited Scott's here. I need to behave. But Scott recently did a voice for me for the Full Fungus.
Finally.
And again, for those of you tuning in for the first time, what is the Full Fungus? It is my animated feature film that I'm working on. I've been working on it since May of 2023, and it's going to be coming out later this late spring, early summer. And it's a full-length animated feature in my style, starring about 2,000 people. Well, 2001, because the man you see sitting here, Scott Serkland, did a voice for me. Finally, Scott.
Well, yeah. Is this your biggest cast ever on a film?
Yes. And I think I was talking to Paul Pate the other day, and I said, when I started this out, and I think on this program, if you go back to like episode 1 or 2, I think I even mentioned it. I said, well, the Full Fungus, I think this one's going to be a really small cast. I think it's going to be like a really just maybe 4 or 5 people max, and just, work from there. And it's exceeded that and become probably my largest cast I've had in the film. So, but there's so many characters in this film. There's so many characters. Hold on, I got to write this down. Okay, I wrote a note down because we're going to talk about that later. Something to do with those characters, product that I'm going to be putting out sometime. I'll tell you in a little bit.
This is news to me as well, so
it's Dry Lube.
Okay.
So, anyways, Scott, you've introduced yourself on Artcasters. Scott is a host of Artcasters, one of 3, but you're better at this than me. To tell people that don't know who you are or what you do, tell them who you are and what you do.
Well, first, I just want to say, Jim, thanks for having me on. Hey, man, how's your movie going? Number 15. And it's good to finally be on the show and to know that I'm your 15th favoriteest person in the whole wide world.
It's true.
So thank you. Thank you. uh, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was asked this the other day, like, how would you describe what you do? Like, and then I said, well, it kind of depends in the company I'm in. Because some people, you tell people what you're doing, it's like way over their head. So I'm just saying, I draw stuff or whatever. But I think most of the people watching your show are creative types, I'm guessing, or interested in that kind of thing. So I don't know. I'm an illustrator. I'm a designer. Cartoonist, and somewhat of an entrepreneur, a struggling entrepreneur. I've yet to have that huge thing taken off, but I do YouTube videos and things like that. Right now, what I'm doing on YouTube is I'm taking like all this classic like ephemera and stuff like that, like wax packs, and figuring out how are these things made, and then try to reverse engineer that process and make it. And I'm doing a lot of fun videos on that kind of stuff. Recently I've been doing like bad movie trading cards, and I just did a trading card set for like the Star Wars holiday special. So I'm having fun doing that. But I also like teach I do a lot of comic book artwork. I've got a book called Young and the Dead, which one of those card series is from. It's like a kids versus zombie adventure story. I'm big into like 80s nostalgia, Goonies, Monster Squad. So it's kind of my own version of that with kids fighting zombies. So I do that, and I also teach a lot about how the process of making comics. For a while, that's all my YouTube channel is, and those videos are still up there. At just search Serkworks on YouTube. And I've got a series called Making Comics 101, which is basically everything you need to know about making comics, all the basics and everything. It's a pretty long series, pretty in depth, and it's free. It's on YouTube, so definitely check that out. And then I've got a website where I have all that stuff. So yeah, my prints, and I sell digital products, all that kind of stuff. So I do a bunch of different things, but in general, I just guess I'm just a creative type.
And your Making Comics 101 is still up for free.
Most definitely. Yeah.
So somebody that's just getting into, they want to make their own comic, can go there from the beginning to
Or it's a good refresher course, or if you're just interested in one particular aspect of making comics, say inking, there's an episode on that. It's broken down to different areas of comics, and you can watch it from 1 to, I don't know how many there are. There's tons of them on there. Or you can just you can either watch the whole thing or just pick and choose what aspect of making comics you're interested in.
By the way, I just realized our color scheme and lighting scheme tonight is heaven and hell.
It's hotter than hell. Yes.
So I've got
here in the studio.
I've got this divine light. Like, I can't get rid of it. I think it's coming off my forehead. I seriously can't get rid of it. Like, what the hell? Is it a smudge? I don't know. Anyways, my halo. So I've known Scott for like what, 8 years?
Probably. I think I've known of you for longer than that. I've been a fan of what you're doing for a long time, since back in the, I don't know if we can say it, but the Gitomation days. Yeah. So
Thank you.
And the podcast, I think you had a Gitomation podcast.
Yeah, we had a Gitomation podcast.
All that stuff. So I mean, so it's like one of those weird things, and we've talked about this before, like sort of as you've got these sort of disparate communities that kind of eventually come together. So it's like, Corey was talking about how he used to, watch Artcasters, and now he's a host, or, I used to watch what you're doing, and now I'm your 15th favorite person in the world. So,
and because you're my 15th favorite, well, you're top 20. That's good.
Yeah.
But because you're my 15th favorite person in the world, I drove to Arizona, and I was in that room right there where you are.
I think were we still kind of putting this studio together?
You're still putting it together.
Yeah.
Corey Kerr was helping you.
Yeah.
Helping mastermind your computer system. So, and I think your house burnt down because of it. Oh my gosh!
We've got to get together again in person, because it's been too long. So.
I'm missing all these comments.
Oh,
Chris Webb says isn't dry lube an oxymoron? Yes, some people have called me that. Also, let's see here. Mr. Gary Hodges says, I have a cast-related question. Who has the most voice roles in this one? Okay, we're gonna have to come back to that one. I'm gonna get to these questions. I just realized there's questions. Christopher's comment. Hey. Okay. I'll get to these in a second. Thank you guys for the comments. So yeah, Corey was helping you with the computer, getting your setup done and everything, and that room was still kind of under construction a little bit, and I got to sleep right behind Scott's head on the other side of that wall.
Yeah. And what does that room look like, Jim?
The jungle room. It was the jungle room.
It sounds like some kind of party, like a.
Well, it did have a curious swing in the middle of the room, but you know, and when you turn the lights on, Jungle Love would play.
Yeah.
So
No, it's my kid's room. I paint it like it looks like the Rainforest Cafe. And my son
call 911.
Hi, Leanne.
Leanne, Scott says hi. Right. Yeah, I'm on it right now. So yeah, that was fun, and I would love putting that relaying an idea that I had heard from Gary Hodges about an artist's retreat.
Yeah,
one day.
Yeah.
I know that the guys from Making Comics, I believe, did one, and that's a fantastic idea. To me, that sounds like that's.
I listened to that episode. That was great.
Yeah. But I think I snore, so we can't sleep in the same room.
I do too, but I got an appointment to look into a CPAP machine.
Well, maybe our snoring will balance each other out, so it's one constant drone, and that'll help people. But yeah, Scott, for a long time we've been friends, and I never knew that you really did voices. I'm not even kidding. I never really knew that you did voices and that you did, acting and things like that until one day I saw Vincent Price on your show. And actually before that, it might've been, I saw Gene Simmons on your show, and, and I was blown away. I was like, cause you seem so reserved that you wouldn't do that. By the way, folks, if you ever get a chance to hang out with Scott, he's not reserved. He's fine. But I just thought you were reserved. And, because every time I would go to shake your hand, you go, I'm reserved, like that. So, but no. So then when I did ask you if you'd like to play a character, you were like, finally, the prophecy.
Yeah. I've been waiting, but it was like I didn't want to kind of put any hints out there that I wanted Jim. I didn't want to pressure Jim. I wanted him to just kind of finally come to me on his own. He
sent me this little thing folding.
Yeah. It was just a bunch of little letters clipped out of a newspaper, pasted strategically together with a little message.
Yeah. So but I checked, I like you, and now you're in the film. I think I'll show your character. I don't have any, I'm not at the stage yet where I'm animating them, but I have all your voices. But I think I'll show your character, and we could talk about where his voice comes. A little side note. I wanted to show, I'm going to follow my script here. Little side note. Okay. I've shown this before. I have this really cool book, stickers provided by Dee Dee Willingham. They're all fungus related. But this book here contains a couple things. One, it contains the credits to my film. These are all the people that have done voices for me. Screenshot. And so I don't mess up when I do the credits, because I'm notorious for, I make credits and I go, oh, I left somebody out, and they have to go back and do them again. That's one thing. The other thing is it has a breakdown of the film, of every scene, everything, 3 pages of it. And I was telling Scott, I'm right like here on the first page. So I've got 2 full pages of material that I still need to do. So I can confidently say, while it doesn't seem like it, I'm halfway done with the film. But the second half has so many more scenes, and it's very involved, the second half. A lot of important stuff happens. So, and finally, this is my script book for me, because all of the dialogue I don't write a regular script. I just write all the scenes down, and it's growing. This book's going to be full by the end of this film. I'm finding lately, one update I want to give you on the film, I'm finding that I'm the person holding myself back a lot with the voices. I never thought I'd say that. I gathered a lot of voices from my friends, gathered Scott's voices, and then I realized I don't have my reactions to his voices recorded. So I've been going back and recording my lines with this very expensive mic here. This is the mic I use. And I want to show you the other microphone that I use. In fact, 40% on that mic, 60% on this expensive mic right here.
Really?
So, yeah. So, and also wanted to show you one more thing here. Well, actually, no. We're fancy here. I think I'm fancy. Hang on. I was going to show you your character, but I'm going to try and show it through StreamYard. But while we're doing that, let's look at some of the questions. How many characters? Ooh. There are probably, Scott, I'm going to show you your character on this because
okay,
I can singular task. There's probably about speaking characters. They're in the 30s, maybe, at least, maybe even 40. And then like main speaking characters, there's like 6 or 7 probably. But the one character I'm very excited to bring forth is the son of the lead character. The quick version of the plot is there's a private detective that was hired to find this guy that ran away with this missing piece of music that the mobster's trying to get. It's a piece of jazz music, and it's the music of his father. So, and there's all kinds of hijinks that happens because we love hijinks. Okay. But the son of that guy, the guy's name is Chino Diamond, the private eye, and kind of a hapless, low rent private eye, typical my character. And his son, his older son, he has one son, is named Davy Diamond, and that's played by Scott Serkland. And this is Davy Diamond.
I know, like a lot of Disney movies and stuff, they kind of base the character on whoever's doing the voice, and I can definitely see the resemblance.
I did, totally. It's Scott, yeah. Because we went and had Mexican food, and I saw Scott, and I'm like, Scott, this is going to be you. But yeah. So we were talking, Scott and I were briefly mentioning about finding a voice, and I wanted to find out, because I think I sent you the character first before you ever did the voice. And I just said, kind of play with it, think of what kind of voice you would do. But it is uncanny. But I kind of gave you some pointers. I don't even remember the pointers I gave you. I'll let you explain that, Scott.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. And the one that I didn't, even the second time around, I should have had the picture, on the screen looking at it when I was doing the voice. That was a mistake. But because I know you had to play a little around with the levels because he's a heavier guy and you want him to sound a little heavier. But some of the kind of a little bit sniffling. When I first did the read, it was kind of I played him as sort of annoyed. Because based on just the small bits of script that I had, it sounded like he was annoyed. He's talking to his father in the scene, and he sound like he's annoyed that his dad's kind of bothering him. But then
you said annoyed,
annoyed,
annoying, not
annoying,
annoyed.
No, not like the little pizza guy. No.
Okay.
So yeah, I think I did a little more like whiny and a little bit like that when I first did the read. And then you said, no, he said he likes his dad and everything, and they're on good terms and stuff, but he's just kind of, I guess he's at a different place in his life and he's trying to not get too, I don't want to give away any of the plot.
You can give away everything. Yeah. So Davy's the son of Chino. He's a child of divorce, and he he went a different direction than his dad. I mean, Chino Diamond has done a lot of things in his life. He was a Marine for a little while when he was younger. He was a stuntman at an amusement park. He was all kinds of things, probably a bouncer at some point, probably played football, I guess. But Davey got really into Dungeons and Dragons and swords and medieval stuff and knights and things like that and dragons and stuff. So Chino was the dad that could never really quite, I can't get into that. Davey tried to at one point share his love of that stuff with his dad, and Chino was just kind of, not too salty on it, but just a little bit like why couldn't my boy want to throw a football with me? I mean, that would be kind of nice, but he would never really say that to Davey. So Davey's kind of got a chip on his shoulder, but it's not like a.
And the funny thing is, that's not too far off from like me and my dad, because my dad doesn't really understand the whole art thing. My dad. I love my dad. My dad loves me, and we're very good terms. But he just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand. So like anytime I've ever had to like take a part-time, like a regular job to supplement my income as an artist, he seems more proud of me for that kind of thing. It's like, oh, that's a good thing. He just does not, he doesn't get it, so that's kind of funny.
Well, yeah,
and he always talks about me not playing football. And the thing is, my dad, I can't even count on like two fingers the time I've ever actually seen him like watch a football game. I guess he played football in high school, so he's always he's always talking about me playing football. Like, and I don't even think my dad's that big of a football fan. So it's kind of a weird thing.
Well, that's because his young son became a disciple of the Knights in Satan's service.
Yeah, so yeah.
He's wearing the shirt, ladies and gentlemen. I, like you, Scott, was into Kiss. I got into Kiss at 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah,
and there was like 8 years where I was really into Kiss.
Yeah, and we've talked about that, where at least I remember I wasn't quite sure. I didn't have an older brother, which most of the people that I knew that were my age, if they really knew about Kiss, like from a music standpoint, they had like an older brother or sister or something. For me, they were like superheroes, because they had like the Marvel comics and the dolls and stuff. And so we would paint, put on the Kiss makeup and ride our bikes around, and they were like superheroes, back
Star Wars, Kiss, and Olivia Newton-John. That was my childhood.
Yeah.
In that order. So yeah, I mean, like, for this sounds more macho than it actually is, but like my dad was a fireman for LA City, and was also in high school. He was the captain of his football team.
Yeah.
And he was also in the Navy, and then me, well, I cut out pictures of Olivia Newton-John. That was his son. No, I never got a sense that this is body language for me being nervous. I never got a sense that my dad wasn't proud of me at all. No, we'd have conversations, and I think he knew I grew up to be a good person. But like, and then again, when I was born, my dad was older. He was 42 or something like that when I was born. So I think they already had a family. They were done, and then I came along. So as long as I didn't get into trouble, he was cool. But yeah, I don't think I ever. I don't know. I think my dad appreciated that I was funny.
Yeah,
I think he did. He really did. Yeah. But here's a comment on that. Olivia Newton-John. God, I love her. Yes. But there's a lot of stuff about you that reminds me of myself, and I think it's, maybe people can tell or people can't tell, but I think we're wired similarly. I think because we know that there's a life away from art that's very important, but we also know that art is kind of, it helps identify us, but it doesn't identify us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if it was all gone tomorrow, I'd find something else, but it's not gone. I feel like it was a gift I was given, and I don't know, it's really good in a lot of ways. It stopped me for sure from becoming a serial killer. Okay, wait. It slowed me down from becoming a serial killer. So I don't know. That's how I feel. But funny, I never had heard that about your dad feeling that way about you.
Yeah, because it's weird, I mean, there's been times where like I've made really really good money doing art, but I could be making like a quarter of that like lifting boxes at UPS, and my dad would be like, "Oh, that's a good that's a good job."
He probably worries too, don't you think?
Yeah, and I get it. And sometimes he just doesn't understand. Like when I was working for the game company, I was working for like a video game company, and it was all like, like it was like a freemium model where people play the game for free, but then they buy in-app purchases and stuff. He could not wrap his head around, how do they make money? How do they make money? And it's the same thing with how do I make money? Well, I've got these digital products that I sell, and it's just like he doesn't, if you don't have like a physical like store somewhere that somebody gives you money and you give them a physical product over a counter, he doesn't get it. So
I'm sure my dad gave me a lot of advice. One of the things that stuck that I remember he told me, he said, if you ever want to make money, figure out something that you do that you know how to do.
Yeah.
And then make show other people how to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing with the comics. That's insane. That's great.
Yeah.
We had a phone conversation, and I felt very fatherly when I was talking to you. Like, God, have you thought about going back into the comics creation instruction business? And then I'm probably telling you a million things that you've already thought about and exercised in your mind, but for me it's new. I'm going, and you can have like an academy, and you can have subscription, and you're
exactly.
Like,
yeah, I mean, there's so many that's the good thing, is there's so many avenues out there. If you have a skill or a talent or whatever you want to call it, there's so many avenues out there to kind of monetize that. It just which direction do you go into, because you have to put a lot of time to build that. Because I've got like a number, because like I've built, like I said, the like digital products that like for making comics, and I've got a book series and all kinds of stuff that I put a lot of time into, and I put it out there. And we talked about, well, that stuff's out there now, you still have to kind of keep advertising. But I think we talked about how we're similar in this way, is that we'll create something really cool, then we'll put it out there, and then we're on to the next thing, when maybe we should keep driving people to what stuff we've already created. So
I'll never have like a Mickey Mouse, because I'll never have like, this is my one thing and I know that could be very, like, I talked to somebody about this one time. I said, well, many times I said, look, it's me doing this by myself. I'm the one coming up with the ideas and creating it. And yes, I get other people involved, but I'm the one physically doing the work and the mental work and everything. And what powers that is the enjoyment of it. And if I don't have the enjoyment, then I don't have the energy to do it, because I've always worked a 9 to 5 or a 7:30 to 4 or a whatever.
Yeah.
But I've always worked and done this on the side. And on one hand, it's kind of cool, because the time you're spending away from this makes you really crave doing it. So, but it also takes away from the time that you get to do it, because I don't like want to come home and work on stuff for 6 hours every night. Although I could probably, but I don't want to divorce. I want to stay married. I don't want to work. I want to have a wife and a life. And there are times where I feel like I am addicted. Like I feel like, okay, I need to step away. This is like, I can do this too much, but it's also takes away from promoting stuff when you're done with it, because then you want to get to the next thing, because that's fun and that is fulfilling. It keeps like the machine going. So I think you and I could really benefit from having a one-person team, or a person that just does nothing but that other piece.
Oh yeah, that's ideal. If I could have somebody to market for me, that'd be perfect situation. Just create and then have somebody.
Yeah, I've never looked into paying for it either.
I did a couple times. One time I did, and it just wasn't a good experience. I was going into doing like like we talked about the jungle room. I was going to do stuff like that for people, like do like kids rooms and really elaborate stuff and murals and beyond, where you got like 3D sculptures and stuff like that. And so I was going to start a business doing that, and I knew I need somebody to kind of market it. And I started working with some people on like commission basis, and it just didn't pan out. I guess if I had money, but then again, I don't know if you're paying people and there'll have to be some kind of commission, or else, I don't know how well the job they do, but it just didn't work out. So, but that was one time, I'm sure I just didn't find the right person.
So Paul Pate says, I've looked into paying for it, which is funny. Well, it's funny when you play this comment right before it. Oh, Lady God, I loved her. I've looked into paying for it. Scott, Paul, tell us more in the comments about your experience about hiring somebody. I'm going to also go back to, I know there's so many good comments. Damn, the comments, it's fire. Yeah, I've never ever hired anybody but to do anything like that. But the more I go, the more I consider it. And the Full Fungus, I'm going to be playing festivals and stuff. So I don't know, maybe there will be a little bit of interaction with other people to take care of certain things and such. But okay, so here, let's get back to some questions. I made popcorn. I'm all set to watch the excitement. Okay, I love popcorn. And if you like popcorn, don't forget to put dry lube on your popcorn.
Butter flavored dry lube.
Okay. Okay. So, boy. Just as I did that, I saw this comment. Jim. Okay. Okay. So now let's get to the real nitty gritty. Okay. So Paul asked how many characters, and I said there's probably like 35 or so characters, at least. There's probably more, but okay. And then Gary, I have a cast related question. Who has the most voice roles in this one? You're looking at him. Meaning me, not him.
I would say that's probably always the case, wouldn't it be? I mean,
well, yeah, because when I first started doing these, it was just me. I was doing all the voices, male, female, everything in between. But now it's just me for certain things, and then I bring in people that I want to work with and that inspire me. And that's actually true. Everybody that I brought in really does inspire me. But I think I have the most voices in this. I'm doing 3 main characters, I guess you could say. I play Larry Carlisle, Tommy Koviak, and Emiliano Koviak. And those are like 3 main characters. I also play a character named Al, who's like a henchman. And I play Randy Bunton, this bar worker. There's like, I don't know. I probably have like 12 different characters I'm doing in this. But the next up would be Deacon Burns. He does at least 3 characters in this. And then Charlie Rossman does just 1. And you only need 1 of Charlie. That's it. And Tom Racine. Tom Racine does 2 characters, I think, in this. So it's a lot of characters in this movie. No, there's a lot. How many? A lot. Okay. Let's go to some more interesting questions here. Some of the things that Paul put in here, I am not going to post. Oh, yeah. We talked about an artist retreat earlier, and Epstein's Island. I'm in. Oh, I bet you are, Paul. We are in the book. That's for sure. This is a real question Paul has. Was Chino ever a bail bondsman? I don't write him as I didn't plan that out. He could have been, but I didn't want to do that because Rod Rossi, the one-man posse from Revengeance, the other film I did, he's a bail bondsman kind of. So I didn't want to do another one like that. I think Chino Diamond's more of a, like, he's probably been doing detective work for, like, it's not like a police detective work. It's like a side hustle. He probably was a right-hand man to a businessman. He's not a mob guy at all, but he probably comes from the sports world, I would think, more that side of things, you know. And
How many?
and
I got a question. How many
yeah.
like returning characters do you have from other films? Wasn't Chino? Chino was another film.
No, this is Chino's first one.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Koviak was in a couple
That's
of
right.
films. And Koviak was mentioned in a couple of films.
Right.
Who else? There's a couple. There's only like maybe 3 or 4. But the other, besides Koviak, the other ones are really just ancillary. They're just kind of a scene here or a scene there.
And that's cool when you see a character, even if they're in the background from something else.
Well, like example,
I
there's
just
a shot I have in this film. There's some billboards, and there's one that says Infinity Pool Cleaners on it.
Yeah.
And that's from Infinity Pool. So there's things like that. There's I like subtle Easter eggs. I like my Easter eggs subtle. And I like them lubed too. So but yeah, there's lots of Easter eggs, but I talked about this. Well, actually we talked about this on Artcasters. By the way, damn it, I'm off script. By the way, congratulations, Scott, on 400 episodes of Artcasters. That is really fantastic. And congratulations on 400 episodes of Artcasters.
Yeah, that's tomorrow. That's what I should have led with when we were talking about what I do. Yeah, that's the big news is the 400th episode of the Artcasters tomorrow.
And you've been on every episode, right? Have you missed any?
I mean, I've been there from the beginning. There may have been a couple where I was out of town or something, and Josh and Corey held it down for me. But yeah, I can safely say I've been on more episodes than anyone else, I guess, because I was doing it back in the early days with Kevin Cross and Jeff Lafferty. We did that for a while.
How many voices do you do in the Artcasters?
How many voices? Yeah, just the one.
By the way,
no, I mean, every once in a while we'll have a special guest, but usually I'm quote unquote not there when those people come on.
Kevin Cross and Jeff Lafferty, those are the other Mount Rushmore guys on the Artcasters because they're the other founding fathers. But yeah, you're the one that's been there the whole time. You're the trying to think of a band that's had like one member, and like when like Journey.
There's
like,
a lot of them.
You're like the Neil Sean. You're the Neil Sean of the Artcasters. I guess that would make Josh Steve Perry.
Or Jonathan Cain. I don't know.
Corey, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. But and I just derailed myself. Let me go back to my script. But congratulations on 400 episodes. We're going to take another question here. And then I'll go to I have a commercial I have to play. So actually, no, I'll play a clip.
Ooh.
So who plays Geralt? I play Geralt. That's right. I play another character named Geralt in it, which is a horrible character. Just like a what's up, cornroll type white guy with cornrows, playing ball at the park, but also just a criminal. He's up to no good. So I play that guy, and he is pretty hateable, and I hope I'm not hateable like him. But wow, okay, we're on schedule. I have a clip I'd like to play, but before I do that, I'm going to play a little message here from our sponsor, and we are going to be right back after these. I'm just trying to stall because I don't know which one I want to play. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play an ad, not for my show, but I did this ad, and here it is.
Well, Peter, since I'm such a big music fan, I'm going to have to go with Karen Carpenter. Oh, Stu, I'm sorry. That's the incorrect answer. Trish, what you got for us?
I'm gonna go with Kim Gordon.
All right, let's check that answer. Kim Gordon. Do we have a Kim Gordon?
Yes, and that means you're our new Wordzoid champion, Trish. Dale, tell Trish what she's won. Trish, you've won a copy of 2 stories, a memoir of faith and mental illness. Handwritten, hand-drawn, and handed to you by artist and writer Joshua Kemble. But wait, that's not all. You've also won a copy of Jacob's Apartment, the story of a doomed romance. What happens when you take eternal sunshine of the spotless mind and put it in a blender with Ghost World? You get Jacob's Apartment, written and illustrated by Joshua Kemble. Trish, thank you for playing Wordzoid.
All right, great job, Trish. I was told I was going to get a lifetime supply of paper towels.
Wordzoid is mentioned in the Full Fungus.
I love that commercial, but I have every time it plays, like I'm watching Josh's live stream, as soon as the person answers the question correctly and that ding goes on, I got to turn the volume down because my dogs just go nuts.
Really?
Doorbell, yes.
Your dog loves game shows. So that's for Josh Kremble. Go check out his stuff. He's an awesome artist and a really good friend. Also does a voice in the Full Fungus. Also will probably be a guest on this show at some point. But right now, just get Josh out of your mind because we have Scott Serkland here. And Scott, I'm not even saying this, but you actually have a really, really big fan base. So that's really cool. So I hope they all come over here and get involved in this and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I need a commercial for my own YouTube channel. I need more subscribers. I don't know why I need them, if it's an ego thing or what, but I could use them. I could use more subscribers. So if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. So right now I'm going to show a little clip. So this is a little dance scene because you know I love to do the dance scenes, and I just edited it together. It doesn't appear in the film like this, but she is dancing to this song in a bar, and it seems like every film I do takes place in a bar. Or this one has like 3 or 4 bars in it. So I'm dropping mad bars, yo. So this is a little scene from the Full Fungus. Please enjoy. I may play it many times. I told you. Maybe I'll play that again.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one before.
So anyways, there's a scene where they're talking and that girl's dancing in the background, and I cut to and from her. But I just assembled all. By the way, something I didn't mention, and maybe some of you have noticed, but this film is very, very handmade. Very handmade. I leave a lot of the bumps and scratches in, and I'm not trying to be perfect and super clean with it. So like I've noticed there's like little marks and fringe and little scraps, you know, when I'm animating. Some of them I take out and some of them I don't. But I think in the whole scene, when you see a whole scene, it's just like it has a feel to it. And I don't know, I kind of like it. It's kind of gives a very homemade,
that's
feel to it.
That's kind of your signature. I think.
I talked to I'm going to name drop here. Name drop, dry lube. I talked to Chris Panowski, the head of Titmouse, the founder of Titmouse, and he and I are friends. And he told me, he said, "Yeah, man, your stuff, it's like," and he just kind of what I just said. It's scratchy and it's like, you know, not perfect and everything, but he goes, that gives it charm. He goes, don't make it all clean and perfect. Everybody's animation is all clean lines and perfect lines, and he goes that takes away from the humanity of it, because you want it to be kind of just leave it. And he says also, he told me, don't concentrate on animating it too like fluidly, like perfectly, because then it would look weird.
Yeah.
So if you're going to draw on that bumpy style, then keep it kind of at a level where it fits it. And I know what he means, because it's like CGI. If you do CGI that almost looks perfect, but it's not quite, it looks dead or weird. The human eye and mind can perceive it like something's wrong. But if you do it way cartoony, it's you automatically. So hopefully I fit in that category. But anyways, that was my little dance scene. Let's see what the kids are saying these days here. Okay. This person says, "Good evening, Riri." I'm just playing this one blind. What does he say? "Scott has been on 700 episodes of Artcasters. I looked on Wikipedia."
Yeah, I don't know how accurate that. I'm pretty sure Artcasters doesn't have a Wikipedia page.
Yes. Oh, going back to our Corey Kerr journey comment.
Yeah.
Steve Perry had bad medical, so that's Corey.
Yeah.
And let me just tell you guys, if you have any Journey songs that you want anyone to hear, send them to Corey Kerr, because as we all know, Corey Kerr loves Journey.
Yes.
And he's on a journey.
He's on the record for that. Yes.
Okay. Paul again asks about the film Full Fungus. Fingerman is in this one, right? Well, I have a character named Danny Fingerman who's a lawyer. He was the lead in a film I did called Sugar Machine. But in that film, his father comes out, Ben Fingerman, an old celebrity lawyer from back in Hollywood days. And Ben Fingerman is in this film. Ben Fingerman is the lawyer to Larry Carlisle. So, and Larry Carlisle is the game show host, and blah, blah, blah. And but there's just so much stuff going on. All right, let's see if there's anything else. Let me go back to the script for one moment. And I wanted to really quick promote somebody else's film again. This right here. Independent animation, very important to support it. You guys have to go see, and I'll see if I full screen this. You must go see this film. Go Google it. My Love Affair with Marriage by Signe Bauman. Where is she? Signe. She worked on this film for like 7 years or so. It's hand-drawn, handmade, and handed to you. It's a film about love and marriage and everything in between, this one woman's journey. It's fantastic and amazing. I saw it. Really, really cool. Just nice to see one person's vision. But by the way, this guy right here, he was in Revengeance. That's right. So, but anyways, use the QR code on your screen to go find the film. Okay, there you go. Anyways, go look, Google, YouTube, My Love Affair with Marriage, watch the trailer. Really trippy film, and a really nice person and a great independent animator. And she has Bill Plimpton connections as well. So, all right. So, all right. So back to the film, back to your contribution to the film. Tell me, how was it doing the voices? Did you feel, by the way, I have to say this, Scott is the opposite of a lazy voice actor. Scott, for every line, sent me 200 plus takes for every single line of the film. And I, most of the time, ended up using take number 1.
Well, that's good that my instincts were pretty good on the first go round, but
no, it's true, Scott. I mean, not most of the time, but about half the time, the first one. And then there were some where I was like, okay, it's good that he did multiple because he said it different on this one. You know? But man, I felt bad because of like, that's a lot of work you did. Like you could tell, like you didn't do like a lot of throwaways. Like you did really, really good. And but I almost wanted to write you back and say, after you sent me all those takes, and be like, can you do it different?
Yeah, I was kind of worried. I was glad you were able to do a little bit in post if you needed to, because I didn't want to have to record all the way.
I got everything I needed. Gary Hodges, who plays a character or two. Actually, Gary plays 3 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gary plays 4 characters in this, including Dr. Hodges. The Scott and Gary's characters ever cross paths in this film? I'm trying to think.
I think I only play off of one other character, other than the what was his name? I don't person I'm sparring with.
I don't think that you do. You do. Yeah. So sorry, Gary. Maybe next film. Did Scott perform any love scenes? 2 of them. I cut them from the film, but they are available on Only Circ. Yeah. So if you go to onlycirc.com and use promo code CircMe, you will get the footage. So, okay. What other? By the way, they're harassing Corey now. Send Corey fake Journey songs generated by
Jeez.
AI. By the way, I've been messing with some AI lately. You little AI, I can quit at any time. I don't need it. I just do it because I like it, because it makes me feel good. So, but I have been messing with some AI, and that will show its face in a project that I'm working on, reworking on, called The Fake Explosion. It's my music podcast that I do, and you might hear a little bit in there.
You might hear a little bit of me in there too.
You might hear a little bit of him in there.
Yeah.
Just saying. So, but episode, I've done 8 episodes of The Fake Explosion. I haven't done one in like 2 or 3 years. And in those 2 or 3 years, there's a lot of new music that I have that I haven't put out. So I'm going to be doing episode 8, 9, and 10 this year. And actually 8 might come out late January. So, or maybe early February.
Yeah.
Or maybe never.
I love The Fake Explosion. It's like it's great house cleaning music, and when people come into the house and not know what to expect and be like, "What are you listening to?"
I am so glad I'm not there in person when people are playing my music. Not because it's not dirty or nothing, but it's just weird and and I don't want to explain it. It's almost like my music is like one of those fart bombs. You just set it off and leave. So, but yes, The Fake Explosion. Yes, The Fake Explosion. Why is it called The Fake Explosion? Because it's fake bands, real music on The Fake Explosion. But and by the way, anybody listening to me, I'm gonna go Fake Explosion. Fake bands. I'm typing this in the chat. The Fake Explosion, by the way. It's the Fake Explosion. If anyone wants to do a bumper, I may use it if you send me a bumper. Just end it with, you can say, hey, this is blah, 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 whatever. This is AI Steve Perry. And then end it with The Fake Explosion. Fake bands, real music. That's what you say. The Fake Explosion. Fake bands, real music. So this, Scott. I've done music since childhood. I've always made up songs, made up albums. I call them albums, but they're tapes. I'm looking down. I have a case of them right here, of albums and tapes that I've done. I've always done. Some people threw a ball with their dad. I recorded alone in my bedroom. Songs of sadness.
Another way you and I are alike, although I didn't really do music unless it was like Weird Al parody style stuff. But I used to, we had the house I grew up in, we had like this intercom system. This is back in the 80s. And that was a feature that some houses had. So there's a little thing you push down on, and I jam some pennies into it so it'd stay down. And I do a whole like radio show throughout the house. I play DJ and do all that stuff.
I had a double cassette player, and I would record like a beat, and I'd play it on one cassette, and I record at the other one a guitar, and then that was like my multi-track thing. And then when I was probably 18 years old, 18, I inherited my older brother's Tascam 4-track recorder, and that changed history. I mean, I was so. And that also taught me, looking back now that I'm in my early 90s now, looking back, that limitation actually made for better product. And I still believe that with my animation, is that my limitations make me try harder in other areas and things like that, of, the story, characters, that type of stuff. I'm not trying to dazzle people with just the animation, but yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of fun. I think people can get caught up in in tricks and like this AI thing I'm messing with. If I only did that, or if I just counted on that for everything, it'd be ridiculous. But I do count on it for everything now. So it is ridiculous. So, by the way, Scott wants you to circ him. Circ
Yeah,
him
let's
real
turn that
good.
into a verb, and it'd be like Smurf, you know.
Circ it real good. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So I believe I had something else to play here. Yes, I do. So we're going to go back, and actually I'm going to play something from a previous broadcast that you guys may have seen, but first-time viewers may not have seen this clip. But I'm going to play you a clip that actually features our beloved Gary and beloved Corey in it, and it is a clip of Mink Fungus, the jazz musician, who is the Full Fungus is named after him. And it is sort of him in 1971 at a college talking to some students about music and such. Deacon Burns playing Mink Fungus. Here goes.
Jazz is just a vibration, baby. The sky ain't blue. Water ain't wet. Dirt ain't dirty. You dig?
That's quite an interesting take on postmodern quasi-traditionalism.
Mink, is jazz more of an existential primal feel or subconscious, a cathartic flow state?
Yes, that seems that it's 4 times longer than that clip, but I also wanted to play this again. The reaction. It's sexy, yet not too comfortable. Yet too comfortable. Yes, with a little fringe on the side. I left it. It's beautiful. That's everybody out there wants to do that sexy dance. So I'm following my notes here. So the product I wanted to talk about also, and thank you, Paul Pate, for helping me with this. I'm going to put out a book of all characters from the Full Fungus, even if they just have like one line. Even like that girl right there will probably be in the book, and every book's gonna have a page with a character bio and a little
that's
backstory
awesome.
in it. So yeah, I can't wait to get that started. I wanted to get a little bit further in the film before I started a book, because nothing like getting halfway done with the film and then starting a new project, right? So I at least wanted to be on the downward spiral, So, but yeah, that's and I plan to release it through Amazon Direct or whatever they call it now. What do they call it now?
I think it's KDP.
Oh,
Kindle
KDP.
Direct Publishing.
Okay. I thought it was Kid Don't Play. So, but I thought they maybe started a company together, Kid and Play.
Yeah.
But Paul. Sick me. Okay. So back to Scott Serkland. So Scott, what if you could have, if you had $1 billion, what would you like to do most, like creatively? Would you have an academy and then also do your own work, or would you just do your own work and say, screw everybody, screw all of you?
Oh man, there's so many things that I'd want to do. I mean, I think honestly, a lot of what I'd like to, if money wasn't an option, or if I think I would do the same thing I'm doing now, just on a larger scale. Like at that point, I would probably hire some people to help me out with whether it's marketing or whatever. But I mean, I love making like YouTube videos and stuff like that, and the problem is it takes a lot of time, and it doesn't pay anything, at least not at the level I'm at. So if I didn't need to, if I was self-sufficient, if I had all the money I needed, I'd make YouTube videos and products, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm at the point right now where I'm going to be wrapping up the last issue of Young and the Dead, and I'm already, because the story's already done. I've always said that I don't want to think about the next thing, because that's going to detract from the project that I'm working on now. But now that everything's pretty much done, it's just putting the finishing touches on it. I don't have to think about it that much. I'm already starting to think about the next project, and I'm looking forward to doing that. So, comics, I'd love to do comics, and I don't know if I do a whole lot differently, just on a larger scale, because I'm kind of living the dream. I'm just living it while struggling, struggling the dream.
Yeah. I don't know. You know how they say, well, don't worry about the audience. Just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's powered me all these years. And that's why I have such a body of work, because I really, truly am just focused on what I like entertaining myself when I make my projects. But I think it also has kind of slowed traditional success. Like, wow, how come you don't have an animation studio, or why don't you have, your stuff on this or that? Oh, you know what? I'm gonna show you a brag. I know this is not put down gym day. I'm gonna show you something cool, but yeah, that's also been a factor of why. I was talking with, it might have been you guys, art casters, and we're saying, if we wanted just straight up success, you just do whatever's hot at the moment. You just do whatever's at the moment, and you do it. You try to do it better than anybody else does it. But is that really what you want to do? What's hot at the moment? Scott, I'm talking to you.
No, excuse me, I gotta go run out and buy a Stanley thermal cup. You aware of this whole thing?
A Stanley thermal cup? What is that? I don't get it.
It's just like a thermos, but there's I don't know how I discovered it, but
I have a thermos.
Yeah, it's by this brand Stanley that's been around forever, but they got this new marketing guy who evidently marketed Crocs to where they are, and just paid a whole bunch of social influencers to carry these things, and now everybody wants one of these, and it's like the Beanie Babies, people are fighting over it. So but it's like a total sheeple type thing, where it's everyone's got to get, and there's videos of these little girls, and because they're watching all these influencers, and at Christmas getting a thermos and basically freaking out. It's like a huge thing.
Just a regular thermos, not even a special
Well, I mean, they're quality thermoses, but it'll keep your coffee warm for a day, and it'll keep a cold drink cold for 3 hours or for 3 days or whatever. So it's a nice cup, but I mean, ironically, Jen's company gave everyone one for Christmas, and she doesn't even use it. It's just sitting on the top of the fridge. But I mean, it's a nice cup, but it's huge. It's like this huge thing that's cumbersome, and it's not very practical, but it's like the huge thing right now. So
Stanley thermoses, from the isn't that what
well, thermos is a brand itself, so it wouldn't actually be a Stanley thermos, but I'm just saying thermos as a Kleenex, as a jacuzzi,
Oh, okay.
But that's basically what it is, yeah. But it doesn't even really have a screw on. The old Stanley things had the screw on thing, and they look like the thermoses. This is more like a big kind of jug thing, but it's insulated, So I don't know. It's got a straw, and then they've got little accessories for it, where you can put a thing on, and you can put your chips around it, or it's got little jewel, you can bedazzle it. It's the nuttiest thing. It's
here's one of the things I was looking for. So the book, this is not the book, but yeah, I did this with characters from Sugar Machine.
Mm-hmm.
I had a little bio page. this will be similar to what the book's going to be about, you know, with stuff like that. But and then the rest of the book's just going to be all photos of James Caan. So, so I was looking for something I wanted to show you here. I don't know if I'm going to find it, but anyways, here, I'll give you here's a picture of Ben Fingerman, the lawyer. He appears in, this is from Sugar Machine as well, but he's in the film as well. All right. So, before we go today, let's look at some of the quick comments. There's a few more. If anybody's got any questions for Scott, put them in the chat now. Scott's not often, and maybe more often, you should be a guest on other people's.
Yeah, I should. I mean, I've been thinking about that. I think that might be a way once I get further along. That's one thing that I want to do, because what I'm doing on YouTube, there's a lot of like other video channels that are like collectible based, and they're into this nostalgia stuff. So I might kind of reach out to some of these other places and get on there and try to expand my reach in that kind of area. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, I should start trying to make some more appearances on other shows and things.
This is not a joke. The answer to Paul's question coming up is 100%. So here's the question. Jim, but do you put yourself in the viewer's shoes when creating your films, right? 100%. I do. But I don't put myself in the viewer's shoes when I'm creating, when I'm coming up with the ideas. But when I'm creating the film, editing it, and doing scenes, I'm 100% trying to watch it as a viewer. Like, is this paced right, correctly? Is it moving? Is it, what I mean? Does it need something, So I am watching it like an audience member but not when I'm coming up with the concepts and ideas. I'm not like, oh, people are going to love this. Because one of the things about The Full Fungus is that I was like, man, there's so many talking heads in this film. Like, this film's a lot of dialogue and talking and things, but I've also peppered it with action and silliness and animated stuff and movement here and there. So that was done with the audience in mind, 100%. I didn't plan that out. I would watch a scene and said, oh, you know what this needs? It needs a dancing lady in the background. A dancing lady has bookends, because there's just talking going on. And there's a lot of cutaways of, different things. So like somebody might be sitting somewhere and then you might see their hand in their cup, on their glass or something like that. And just a lot of things to keep it interesting. That's all done with the audience in mind to pace out a scene. I don't know do you find yourself doing that, Scott, when you're creating?
Putting myself in the audience
when you're
shoes?
Actually building it, not when you're coming up with, or do you do it when you're coming up with the ideas too?
I mean, the weird, I think this goes back to sort of what you realize when you first are discovering the internet. Because when you're a kid, you're into all this weird geeky stuff. And because there's no internet, at least our age and talking, you don't know that there's other people that are also into this. Because when I was growing up and I discovered hip hop in the late 80s, there weren't a whole lot of white kids that were into hip hop. And at least I didn't think there was, but later you find out, oh yeah, there were. You didn't have a way to connect with all these other people. So that goes for just about any kind of pop culture thing that you're into, that you love this thing and you don't have a way to share it. So for like, if I'm creating a book that's based on like kind of like Goonies, Monster Squad, E.T., all these 80s action flicks starring kids and stuff, it's just something I love. But knowing the internet, I know that there's an audience for that out there. So I'm creating it for me, just knowing that there's got to be other people that are into the same thing as me. So yeah, I guess I am sort of creating it for the audience, but I'm creating it for myself first, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, do you ever go back and change things because you think the audience?
Yeah. Well, Yeah, I mean, one thing that I want to do, I think once I get the full story out there, I might want to get some critiques and just if there's anything that doesn't make sense or any type, because it's even though I put these out there in like printed issues, I don't see that as the final issue. When I collect everything together, I'd like to make sure it's all cohesive. If there's anything that I should change, so it's good to kind of get feedback from other people as they put stuff out. So, or just in YouTube, like what I'm doing now, I'm kind of trying to gauge feedback either from how people are responding. So if I should change a thing here or there or as I go forward and just kind of adapt. So yeah, I do. I guess I do that a lot.
Well, I mean, like specifically for The Young and the Dead, that's like you said, it's kind of like if you like Goonies,
Yeah.
if you like, Monster Squad, if you like that style, you'll like when you came up with the idea, were you doing that for yourself or were you doing that because you felt like there was a market?
No, I mean, it was a throwaway idea. I've talked about this before, but it was, to me, it was just, and I like to base things a lot on just concepts alone. Like, oh, that's a cool concept. I mean, why haven't we seen that before? Well, and since then, there's been a few things kind of like that. I think with kids fighting zombies, not as many as you might think after that amount of time, but when I first came up with it was just like, oh, that's kids fighting zombies. That's like a easy concept. So I thought, oh, it's something I can just do like a real quick story. It'll be fun. There's not going to be much to it. But then when I started getting into it, I'm like, oh man, I'm starting to like these characters. There's more to it than just a real quick throwaway kind of story. And so I kind of built on that. So I kind of, sometimes I'll just surprise myself as I dive a little deeper.
Give me an exclusive here.
Yeah.
Scott. You've never shared this anywhere else.
All right.
You're at the end now of Young and Dead. On a scale of 1 to 10, be honest. How sick and tired are you of it now that you're reaching the finish line? How tired are you of like, oh, I got to finish this? Because I'm going to preface it with this. My favorite project I've ever done, favorite project, take whatever it is. At the very end, you're like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with this. You don't hate it. You're just done.
Yeah. So I get that. Right now, I haven't reached that point yet. But previous to this last issue, I mean, when I was probably on issue, because it'll be 5 issues in total, but when I was on like issue maybe 4 or even before that 5, because it's taken me so long to put together one of these issues, because it's not my main, it doesn't, at least right now. I mean, I'll do a Kickstarter, it'll bring in some money and stuff, and I'll be able to sell copies and stuff, but it's not like I can't support myself on the comic book. So it's not a main, although comics are my first love, it's not something that I can just devote all my time to. So it takes me a long time to do an issue, like a couple 2.5 years sometimes. So when I finish say issue 4, I'm like, I'm never going to get done with this story. Am I ever going to actually finish it? And at that point I was like, this is not fun looking at how long this is going to take to finish it. But this time around, I implemented a kind of a new technique by there's a Scott Lost who created, or Scott Lost from the did we talk about this just previously?
Yeah, the Lost.
The Slack method.
Slack method.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got this method. It's just a different way of creating of structuring kind of your workload and your flow. Where you just kind of work on whatever you want. It's not a linear type thing. So I implemented that, and it kind of sped up the process. So I got a little faster, and to this point, this is the fastest, and it's a longer issue than all my other issues, and it's gone the fastest. So I've kind of got this kind of rejuvenated sense of like, oh man, now I'm excited, and the fact that I'm wrapping everything up. So I haven't reached that point, even though, like I said, it is nice to be a point where I can start thinking about the next project.
Yeah.
But I'm not like at the point where I hate it. So no. I guess we differ a little on that, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I hate everybody's work. So
yeah.
I'm a hater. I'm using that Slack method a little bit on this film, because there's scenes where I'm like, I'm like done with this scene. Like I need to get out of the scene, and then I'll just jump to another scene and start a little bit on that.
Yeah.
And then go back and finish it. And it really does help because it gives you a fresh perspective on something you were kind of tired of. And I wanted to get back to this question. This is a very good question here. Christopher Runsman asks, Scott and Jim, do you act out your stories as you write them? And do you make yourself giggle publicly? Publicly. I don't.
Really?
I don't, but there's been a couple times where I'll be like, like I don't know, I'll kind of like do a little bit of that, but no, not really. Not really. I thought about that too. Do I make faces when I'm drawing? I don't think I do. I don't know.
I totally do, to the point where it's almost like people like, and sometimes I'll do this and I'll not realize somebody's home, but it's almost like I have like a form of Tourette's, because I'm so like, when I do like sound effects and things, I'll be making up these weird words. And then sometimes I just work it into my vernacular. So all of a sudden, like I'll just burst out with some weird like sound effect or something. And like Jen will be like, what did you say? And I like, it's nothing. No, you said something. Like, it's just like, it's nothing. It's like a weird sound effect, but I'll just blurt this stuff out. So I do that kind of stuff. And sometimes I'll act things out so yeah, I do a lot of that.
I don't know, Chris, the closest I've come to doing that is I had a specific example. This kind of goes to Gary's method too, of photo stuff. Like I'll take a series of like 3 photos on the computer. Like I had a photo of somebody whipping somebody with a baton, and I took like 3 photos of myself, like different poses, and I use that as kind of reference but like, I mean, that's a form of it. But like, I do a lot of drawing, like in coffee shops, and out.
Yeah.
My iPad. I'll have headphones on and I'll be drawing. And yeah, I'm pretty reserved when it comes.
Yeah.
I don't want to draw attention to myself.
That's probably why I don't do stuff at coffee shops.
Really? Well, you work at a larger size. I have an iPad. You don't work on the iPad, right?
No, I can't. I gotta have a big, large area.
I love it, man.
I know. So many people swear by it. I have done. I mean, I've got the iPad, and I have worked on it. Like if I'm somewhere, like if I'm traveling or something, I'll use it. But I don't know. I just like the large drawing surface. I like the big Cintiq. I'm just spoiled that way. Yeah. But I definitely see the advantages of it. But
Paul asked if we dress up like the characters like he does.
And I've been known to dress up like a character or two, not necessarily my characters, but
which is weird because Paul's working on a segment right now where 2 girls are making out in his comic. So I don't even want to think about that, Paul. So Paul, as Cat Williams would say, if you lay out a trap for a turtle and you catch a rhinoceros, well, then you have a situation. All right. Anybody? By the way, I noticed this too earlier, Scott.
Is it? Wow, I haven't. That's what I haven't heard.
The pictures there.
Yeah, I've got. I mean, from my just having been on YouTube for so long, I mean, I used to get tons of, and I don't necessarily see it, but evidently people do. But they'll be like, "Oh, it's Mark Ruffalo drawing comics," or it's what's his name? John Favreau. I get those all the time, and it must just be the hair. Or something. I don't know what.
Do you want to see my Mark Ruffalo?
Sure.
Okay, here's my Mark Ruffalo. You guys, I'm the Hulk. No, yeah, I could. When I put the James Caan up next to you, I was like, that guy's funny. Kind of looks like Scott. That's pretty good. I never get James Caan. I do get Shaka Khan a lot though. So, but Khan.
I get the Wrath of Khan. Yes, I get Khan.
So, and Christopher says he gets references Paul Giamatti, Paul Giant Motti.
Yeah.
But so Scott, I'm super happy that you're on today. You're a big Kiss fan. Your favorite is Gene Simmons, I know.
Well,
No?
to portray, yeah, Gene Simmons.
Who's your favorite growing up? Who was your Kiss guy?
I was probably Peter Criss.
What? That was mine.
Well,
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I can go get my Peter Criss shirt right now.
Yeah.
I told you Peter
Or
Criss
Ace
and Peter
Frehley.
Sellers.
Yeah.
Those were my two growing up. Those were my two heroes.
Yeah.
Wow. And Steve Martin too.
Oh yeah, those are great. Yeah.
Wow. By the way, we got a good comment. We made milk come out of his nose. And that's a long fall to the ground. So it's like a waterfall, basically. Great show, guys. We are good show guys. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everybody, for the comments. Give me, Scott Serkland, give me 3 words that sum up where you are right now with Young and the Dead and coming to a closure on it. 3 words.
The home stretch.
Yes. Yes. Beth, I hear you calling. When I was a kid, I had no idea what that song was about. I thought it was like his parents wanted him to come home. I had no. So I'll give you my 3 words that describe where I'm at with the full fungus. And they are the dry lube.
Now in Cool Ranch flavor.
Good stuff. 3 words, really, seriously. It's funny that I asked this question because I had no idea what my answer would be. Almost finding target. I'm almost finding the target is to finish it. And I've said this from the beginning. I know this is the type of project where I'm going to get all the way to the end, and then I go back and fix stuff and push stuff around. And for example, all the scenes that I've been showing you guys, they don't have music. There is music, but I'm doing the version without the music, and then I'm going to add the music to different parts.
When can we expect like the first new Fake Explosion to hit?
A new Fake Explosion probably end of January, early February. I told myself I wanted to do one January, February, and March.
Oh, cool! So it's not too
like
far.
1 month.
Cool,
So,
awesome.
But you know what? For right now, you guys can catch up. Go to my YouTube channel, and I think I have a playlist that says the Fake Explosion.
Mm-hmm.
So just do Jim Lujan, the Fake Explosion on YouTube. Also, with this new launch of the last 3 episodes of the Fake Explosion, I want to put them on Spotify as well, because they're not on Spotify right now. They're only on YouTube. So I like this one. More Melba toast. Yes. Paul again says 3 words. Learn to, and Paul, that's not how you spell fracking. So anyways, but all right. I've enjoyed, I kind of want to go in for another 2.5 hours, but Paul, and should I ever open these?
It's up to you. You can probably open them, look at them, and then if you have like a heat source, you may be able to reseal them.
So the reason why I haven't opened these, and I'm not even kidding, is because I feel like I didn't want to ruin them. Like I feel like once I open them, they're like, I'm gonna have to figure it out. There's cards in here though, right?
Yeah, there's cards in there. There's Young and the Dead cards, and the other one's stickers. And I'm planning on I'm figuring out a way where I can do those a little more economical for me, so it makes sense to do them. And then I'm planning on doing a bunch of different ones and putting them on like an Etsy store or on my website.
I like stickers. I've never grown out of stickers. I've usually put stickers, like I have all these, because I used to do sketchbooks, and that's where I would draw my artwork in, and I always stick stickers like in them and on them, and just it's a fun thing.
Yeah, those are fun. So I get here, so you don't have to open the sticker one. These are the stickers that are in there. This is this is my Trapper Keeper. So those are the gross food stickers. How can
Hold
I
on a second?
Yeah.
Let's do it like this.
Yeah. So it's just all gross food. It's kind of my version of like the Wacky Packs or Garbage Pail Kids or whatever. So yeah.
Is that a popsicle right there?
Yeah, there's a popsicle there. Pretzel, or like a wrap, pizza, hamburger, club sandwich, sushi, donuts, all that stuff.
Sweet. I'm on this side now. All right. One last little tip I'll give you guys. A little reading tip. If you're ever
I've got to get that.
Using books, this is what I'm reading lately. I gave myself a couple of days, not a couple of days, a couple of separate days away from the full fungus to recharge my battery. And I'm a huge Dan Clowes fan. Got to meet him one time too. But this book was much better than I even thought it would be. So
that's what I've heard. Yeah, I've got the big hip hop family tree. I've got to crack open and read that before I get anything new. But
book does show peepees in it, though.
Oh my!
Anyways, all of my books show peepees in them. But yeah, go check that out. Davy Diamond. Let's look at Davy Diamond one more time before we go. Can we? Shall we? We can. And do you remember what Davy Diamond sounded like?
Let me see if I can do it a little deeper, like how it originally. But it's like, Jim. So yeah, okay. So we're gonna close out the show, and So this is Davy Diamond. My father's Chino Diamond, the private detective. You may have heard of him, but yeah, we're gonna close out the show. And why don't you? I've got some tickets. I perform nightly over at Medieval Times. I'm actually the Blue Knight. So why don't you come out and maybe we get some turkey legs in you and some baked potatoes and have a good time.
I forgot what my medieval.
I don't know if that was exactly it. I had to go because that's the thing about like voices. Like I can do different voices, but I have to I can't like do them on the spot. Like I'll have to I'll start watching a bunch of clips of somebody and I'll get it in my head, and I can't do any other voices while I'm doing that. It's like a method thing. So
hold on. It was Medieval Knights is the name of the place with a K.
Oh,
Medieval Knight.
Wait, did it mention that in the script?
What's that? I think so.
I didn't say. Okay.
No, you never say it. You never say it. I just show it.
Okay.
And I also get a Mike Judge, not Mike Judge doing a voice, but the actual person Mike Judge vibe when you do the voice. It's
really?
Like his actual speaking voice.
Okay. Huh. Yeah. I think one thing I did notice is that when I was doing it, I could tell because I tried to because you said you wanted a little bit of my voice to come through. So I tried not to make it too like over the top, because the original thing was just go to like the comic book guy type or some sort of version of the comic book guy where it's like, well, actually it's a very Sean Connery.
I wanted Davey to be human. I wanted him to be human and flawed, but and there's that weird dynamic between him and Chino that's kind of, a lot of it's unspoken because I don't have lines for it. But I also wanted there to be a love there and a genuine bond.
Yeah.
And speaking of a genuine bond, Jim DuBono. Well, I think I'll end this show with some Bono. If I had sunglasses, I'd wear them. Oh, that's Scott. That's not me. Sorry. If I had sunglasses, I'd wear them. But one thing to remember is that when you forget, it's just the heart's way of sending yourself an alarm. Don't turn that on snooze. Wake up, man. It's dinner time. Thank you. Scott, thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you for doing the voices. I'm super happy. You knew how happy I was when I got them.
Yeah, I'm excited just to see how
I'm very happy. Yeah, I'm very, very much looking forward to animating your scenes and drawing you. I'll probably get to them. I'll probably get to your scene in the next 2 weeks, I think.
Cool. Yeah.
So, but and thank you everyone for all the comments.
And can I give a little plug for Artcasters tomorrow?
Absolutely.
We got a 400th episode of Artcasters. If you're not familiar with that, there's tons of episodes with Jim on it as well. You can go back through the archives, although it's on 3 different channels. It's on Corey Kerr's channel, Joshua Kimmel's channel, and it was on mine. It's going to be back on mine again tomorrow. I was doing a little experiment where I tried just to only have a certain kind of content, and now I'm just like, I don't think it matters. I'm just gonna put whatever I want on it. So it'll be airing back on my channel coming up, starting tomorrow for the 400th.
400. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations. And you might see some familiar faces popping up on there.
Yes.
Just saying. So, all right. I'll see you tomorrow, Scott. Congratulations. Thank you for doing the voices for me. Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for
guys.
asking me to finally.
Interest in the movie. It's coming along. I think 2024 is going to be the year, man. No, I think I know in the next couple of months, you guys are going to see much more videos and a trailer and things like that. And it's all headed that way. And I'm going to keep chugging away. And just remember that I love you guys like Corey Kerr loves Journey. And we all know that's a lot. So, peace. So,
I'll stop believing.
All right. That's a great quote to end with. You go clean up that milk now. All right. Thank you, guys. And I'll see you next time. We have a few more. I'll do a few more of these before the film's done. So, thank you, Scott.